journey. I never in a million years thought I would be an author. And yet, 10 years later, I have 9 books. And so Pigglesworth is growing. He's gaining more traction around the world. People are getting to know who he is. And so I appreciate you all being here today. And so do we need Emily, I guess, to go?
Yes, we need
Okay,
Emily next.
Okay,
So-
so welcome everybody. Welcome Emily Wicks from the University of Connecticut. And she's going to tell us about her puppets and how their books came about.
Thank you
Take
so
it away,
much.
Emily.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. My co-creator, Dr. Sandy Chafulias, and I created our project called Feel Your Best Self during COVID. And we were responding to a national mental health crisis that, we were all going through along with young kids. And so we created Feel Your Best Self to offer fun and easy to use products that would encourage kids and their caregivers to explore and learn different emotion focused coping strategies. So we, like other social emotional programs, are built on emotion science, but we use a unique approach where we bring in creativity and fun with puppets to teach kids 12 emotion regulation strategies that they can use in their everyday life. So we created 3 characters, CJ, Nina, and Nico, and then created 13 videos that are freely available on our website, feelyourbestself.org, along with other free downloads to support these videos that teach kids 12 different emotion-focused coping strategies, things that we as adults might know, like belly breathing or kind of shifting your perspective, but presented in fun ways with our 3 puppet friends. And because of demand, we then created 12 different books based on each of the 12 strategies. And they're organized into 3 categories. Yellow, blue, and red based on the type of strategy. So red is connect with others. These are encouraging kids to create relationships to feel their best self and to help others feel their best self. Blue is calm yourself. These are strategies to help you self-soothe when you're having big feelings. And then yellow are catch your feelings, and these are trying to shift your perspective and shift your emotions. And so with these books, not only do we kind of use stills from the videos to kind of have that connection with the already existing materials, but we want it to be a fun experience, not something where, the parent is just reading to the kids, but that the parent and the kids are reading together and learning and exploring together. So each book has a tip sheet, a discussion sheet in the back with questions that the kids and caregivers can discuss, steps to go over the different strategies, and then a feelings forecast where they can discuss their emotions before and after they try out the strategies. And a really important part of Feel Your Best Self and of this kind of learning and reading experience are the puppets. And so on our website, we have free guides for kids to make their own puppets, and we've created a lot of, I think, over 2,000 kits to go into schools and have kids make their own puppets to try out the strategies, to model for each other, model for their families, and kind of help them learn these strategies and practice these strategies.
Wow, that is so cool. I can see why kids would really get into that. Like I said, I need to make a Sir Pigglesworth puppet. So I will go on the website, feelyourbest.org.
Yeah, feelyourbestself.org.
feelyourbestself.org. And I will figure out how to make a Sir Pigglesworth puppet, and I hope to show you. I'll show everybody at one of these shows my puppet and how I did. Okay, well, Emily, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it, and stick around. Does anybody have any questions for Emily? No? Okay. All right. Thank you again, Emily. Appreciate you being here. Okay, so we're going to have Brandon next. And Brandon, tell us about your books.
Okay, hi. Thank you, everyone, for having me. So my books are based around a reindeer named Clyde. So Clyde the reindeer, and then his dream is to guide Santa's sleigh. So he's a blue collar reindeer that works for a logging company in Arizona, and then he works for a beaver. So the beaver owns the logging company, but but his dream is to guide Santa's sleigh, but he can't fly. He does have a guiding light for his hard hat, so he's got a halogen bulb hard hat. But the book is actually something that I wrote about 17 years ago before my first son was born, and I wanted to have a holiday book to actually then read to them when they were growing up. And I read the story always, but I never had the book completed. And I did some of the original drawings too, but I just could never get it over the finish line. And in 2022, I actually published it November, so then it came out before Christmas. So then this is the first book. This is Clyde the Reindeer Learns to Fly. And then Clyde, then in the second book, he actually joins a superhero team called the Amazing Critter Rescue Crew. So then they are all, there's 5 superpowered animals, and he's the leader, but they strive to help animals in need and nature and the environment. So then that's the second book. And then the third book I made is like a hybrid comic book type children's book for kids. So then it was a little bit of, I wanted to have it to where kids would be interested in comic books at an early age because I loved them growing up, but then also be able to be interested in reading and kind of learn at, their own speeds and stuff. You can see it's got a lot of action and stuff like that in it. And then also, as like Emily has the puppets, I actually have a puppet too named Wilbur. So Wilbur's a squirrel, and he actually appears in the first book. So he owns a news hut. And what I do with Wilbur now are TikTok videos and some other kinds of videos where I throw in environmental issues. Like for June, it was pollinator month. So I did a lot of stuff for the different pollinators. And then, he does little video segments where he talks with a New Jersey type accent. So he kind of sounds like Joe Pesci and maybe like Daniel Tiger together. So, and then I do the voice, and then my wife does, she's Miss Monica. So she does like he's talking to her over a fence. But and then I do like other ones for environmental issues like recycling. He learns about recycling the one time, and then Plastic Free July. But with those, I wanted to bring kids into the books with kind of a live experience, but then also to learn about those kind of things like the environmental issues before or while they're young, to kind of teach them. So.
Okay. Well, your books sound amazing, Brandon, and tell us
Thank you.
where we can buy your books.
They're available on Amazon right now. So if you go in and just type in my name, Brandon Detweiler, or the Amazing Critter Rescue Crew, they'll all show up. And I'd like to have them on other platforms, but I haven't gotten there yet. I have them in a few not local stores. There's in a store in Colorado that I'm in. And then there is a toy store here where I'm at. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina. So there's a toy store there that I'm in. And I have another friend who has a comic book shop that I'm going to get in. He's in Minnesota. So.
Okay, so do you go around to bookstores or schools? I do. I go to bookstores, schools, churches, and I talk to the kids. Do you do a lot of that?
I did I'm trying to think when it was. It was before school ended. I actually did. Our neighbor was she's a preacher, so I did a after school thing for her church where I donated 15 of the new book and then read it to them. And then it has interactive questions in it. They all do, but that one was really interesting because then the kids could pick what superpowers they wanted and what kind of team they wanted to be on and all this other stuff. So it kind of threw in the fact that then they could all be friends, but then they could also help one another along the way, and like show perseverance and determination and things like that to teach kids to about teamwork. And I've done a couple school visits then too. So
good. Okay. I know kids love having authors come in. I talk to teachers all the time, and their kids want authors to come in and talk to them. So
yeah.
Well, congratulations on your book series.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Look your books up, and I will leave you reviews. I'm sure everybody on here knows how important reviews are, and they're so hard to get. I hate to keep saying that, but they're very hard to get. But people say they'll do it, and they end up not doing it. But anybody have any questions for Brandon?
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Emily, Brandon, I love it, and the comic book looked really beautiful from the few pages that you showed. I'm curious if you've had kids kind of create their own comic book stories after reading your books. I just feel like it's such an inspirational art form and really fun and kind of accessible for kids. It would be neat to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, no, I haven't yet. That's one of the questions that's, that's in there is what kind of comic book would you create next, or what would you write? And I do have coloring sheets that I give away.
Oh, amazing.
Well, I've done a couple Comic Cons too, and that's when I give those away. And I have it to where they can actually send, or their parents can send it back to me, and I'll put it on my social platforms, but I haven't had any bites yet. So
I love that. I mean, I wonder, it was funny when we first started bringing Feel Your Best Self into the classroom, before we even had the books, one girl, when we showed up, she said, like, I loved the video so much, I created my own book. And then she sat there and like read it to the class. And that was really amazing to see, because, it's literacy in that she's writing her own book and then she's kind of reading it to the class. And it was just amazing to kind of see her take ownership of the stories to create her own story. And so I feel like your project sounds so exciting. I would love to see if you could kind of get some teachers to encourage kids to then make their own stories based on Clyde's tales.
yeah, I'd love to get to that point.
Yeah, it looks really beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay. Any further questions? No. Okay. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you being here, and congratulations and best of luck with your books. Okay. So Tim's already on here. I see Tim McCarthy. I can't see real well because, I don't have my glasses.
Yes.
Anyway, Tim McCarthy,
Yes.
you're up next.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm kind of an outlier because I haven't written a children's book. It's really a parenting book. And so taking one step back from what you guys are doing and looking at what the kids are doing, should be doing, and what we can do better. The book is called Raising Four-Dimensional Children in a Two-Dimensional World. It's my opinion that we are living more and more in a two-dimensional world, the world of screens, phones, tablets, laptops, even TVs. Anybody watching this is in our two-dimensional world. I want to get the kids out of the two-dimensional world and back into the real four-dimensional world. What are those four dimensions? If you remember your geometry, you have length, width, depth, and according to H.G. Wells, time, duration. If it doesn't exist for time, we don't perceive it. So those are the four dimensions of the real world. But I also run a parallel to the four dimensions of human potential: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. And so what I've set out to do is create the instruction manual that you don't get with your kids. And right now it's a great time. A lot of people are having their summer babies. So there are a lot of gender reveal parties. There are a lot of baby showers going on. And this is the gift. It's the manual for the parents, especially if it's their first baby and they don't know what to expect. And so what I did is I set out to break down parenting into time frames: prenatal, infancy, toddlers, preschoolers, school age, middle school, which is still school age, then the preteens, and then the adolescent years. And so I went through what's happening, how the child develops physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in each of those dimensions, so that you have an understanding of, okay, what is my child capable of? And so, like Emily does a great job, she does a deep dive compared to what I do into the emotional dimension. And so I kind of outline what your child is emotionally capable of as an infant. As an infant, it's basically instinct. As a toddler, now they're starting to put together some feelings, and they don't really know. They have these terrible two frustrations. Why is that? Because they're getting new emotions and they don't know what they are or how to handle them. And so I explain that, put the research in there so that it's not just my opinion, but I cite, I think 200 citations of research that back up what I say, but then I take theory and put it into practice by offering activities. And so in the toddler years, one of the activities, or the preschool years actually, the activities is to work with puppets, because it helps the child start to realize that my feelings aren't the same as everybody's feelings. A 2-year-old, if he likes candy, daddy likes candy. A 3, 4, 5-year-old, they start to realize that I like candy, but daddy may like broccoli. And so they start to get that separation of emotional maturity to understand that other people have different feelings. So this is the sort of, I guess, research I provide, what they're capable of and what they're not capable of at each age. And then here are the activities to do to help them move up to the next level and have a good time. So if you're in a carpool this summer, if the kids are home from school and you need activities, let's do something educational. Do we have physical activities? Yeah. Mental activities to keep them sharp. Emotional activities, which quite honestly, most parents don't know how to do. I had wonderful parents, but they did not give me a great emotional education. They just didn't have the tools. And of course, spiritually, whatever religion or whatever you believe, the spirit is the realm of belief. So whatever your beliefs are, and there's actually a breakdown of how children are able, or when they are able, to move up spiritually to a better understanding. Children want everybody to have the same rules so that they get their fair share. Then around 7, they start to realize, well, if my sister needs shoes and we can only afford 1 pair of shoes, maybe she should get the shoes. And that's a spiritual advancement. And again, I break this down according to age group. One of the things I am most proud of is that I divided the book into chapters. And at my website, 4d2d.com, you can buy, if you really are economically challenged, you can buy the chapter for your age group for under $1. The whole book under $5 online. And so it's available on my website, also available on Amazon. If you are wondering what's up with your child, why they're thinking the way they do, and especially what you can do about it, this is what's happening in their brain, this is what they're capable of, and here are dozens of activities to help you move them from where they are to where you want them to be.
Wow. Well, this certainly sounds like an amazing book that everybody should be having. Everybody having a child or even having children already. It's a book that I want to read just for my own knowledge. I mean, I don't have little kids around me anymore, but wow, I would love to read that. And so, wow, does anybody have any questions for Tim?
I don't have any questions, but kudos to you for making it so available to people, and especially with clearly how much work and research you put into it. That's admirable. Thank you.
Well done.
Yes, thank you. And the object is not to get rich, it's to help people.
There you go. Well, good for you. That's awesome to hear. Thank you so much for coming tonight, Tim. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Best luck with hope everybody go out and buy that book and give it to anybody you know who's having a baby or considering it or already has kids. It's a really necessary book for the kids. All right. Well, thank you for being here again. And so next we're gonna have Kim.
Yes.
Kim, I'm sorry, I can't see.
I'm going to jump in here. So Kim is one of my very older authors, and she's been one of the authors that we've had for a very, very long time. And she's been a sponsor many times. So Kim, thank you for joining. I haven't seen you in a long time. So this is awesome. And she's got an amazing book and a great story to tell. So over to you, Kim.
Well, let me know if you can hear me, because
Yes.
I just need to know if I'm working properly. Are we working?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I am Dr. Kim Grom, and yes, I was delighted at a last-minute email I got to join you all, and I'm already pretty excited about what I've heard. I have a bunch of grandkids. I have 6 and 7. 7 is on the way in February. My background is I'm a pastoral counselor and a life coach. And one of the things I learned along the way of the journey of life is that we all have feelings, and they're not always easy for everyone to express. And as you all know as authors, that storytelling is a very wonderful way to learn to reveal emotions and to allow expression. So I had this moment in my life where my grandchildren packed up and moved out of state, and it caused quite a bit of grief. So I decided to write a book, and the book was about a little animated bird called Little Blue, and I'll hold up the book here. It was Little Blue's Runaway Adventure. So it goes through the life of this blue bird and how she's a very family-oriented little character. And then her family up and moves, which is exactly what my family did. So this little bluebird, being a very sort of quiet, homebody type, had to figure out what she was going to do with the grief she was experiencing. And I don't want to tell you the story, but she actually did come to some triumph where she was able to reunite with her family members. And the joy I had in writing this book was when I did move out of state to join my family members. And P.S., from moving from the Northeast to Tennessee, I have met countless grandparents who have told me the same thing. We are here because our kids moved here and we missed our grandchildren. So when I read Little Blue's Runaway Adventure to then my oldest two grandchildren, at some point halfway through the book, they stopped and looked at me and said, "Grandma, is this story about us?" And I said, "Yes, this story is about you and for you." So that was the heart behind that book. And I wrote a second one. And this is all I have to say about children's books because I've written other ones, but not children's. This one is called Little Blue and the Kingdom in the Clouds. And this was birthed out of my husband and I served as grief share counselors at our local church up in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. We had experienced a very traumatic loss of a child many years ago. And our pastor and his wife had also, unfortunately, experienced the loss of their 17-year-old daughter. So we taught the Grief Share program as their successors for several years, and we learned a lot. And I learned quite a bit as a counselor. But I didn't really see that there was much expression for young people, children in particular, about going through a grief experience. Now, this book is written from a Judeo-Christian perspective, which might not be for everyone, but the book attempts to portray the loss of a mother that a child is going through, and all of the questions that come up. Where did the mother go? Does she have, an afterlife, which I have portrayed an afterlife and a very benevolent God. So it comes from that perspective. And at the end of it all, the child wakes up and doesn't know whether she dreamed it or whether it was really real. But at the end of the story, the thought that something could happen that was good to her deceased mother brought her much comfort. So that was the gist of that book. And that's it. These books are on Amazon. They're available in ebooks for anywhere from $3.99 to $5.99. And Barnes and Nobles has picked one up. So there you go. That's my story.
Hey, well,
What
thank
a
you so
lovely
much,
story.
Kim, and that's such an
Yes.
important topic. Kids go through so much grief in so many different ways, and I'm sure it was really hard for you when they moved away.
Yes.
My husband and I have been blessed. They were all born in San Antonio. They're his kids. This is our second marriage, and we're in Dallas, and they moved here. All three of them moved up here to Dallas. So our grandkids are around us all the time. So we thank God for that. That's just so important to us. Okay, well, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Kim? Okay, well, go on Amazon and look up Kim's books. Thank you so much for being here, Kim. Okay, so our next author is Carol. Carol
McGee.
McGee. Okay, well, Carol, you're up next. Thank you for being here.
Actually, Larry and I are co-authors, so Larry and Carol McGee. And you thought you were an outlier, Tim. We are even more of an outlier than you. We have written a book that we believed would be more directed toward probably women and even more specifically Christian women. And yet, in the context of this group, what we're finding is that the book is very popular with teens. And the main character is herself a teen. And Larry will tell you a little bit about our book. It's called In Search of My Heart.
Well, In Search of My Heart literally was a book that God gave us. It's a story that takes place in first century Israel. It's about the daughter of a Jewish scribe, and she has a tragedy in her young life. She and her family wind up meeting Jesus at the wedding in Cana, and later on, she becomes one of the women that travel with Jesus and the disciples, cooks for them, washes for them. And it's her story of love and loss and faith and unbelief and faith. It's an amazing story, and many of our readers have said it reminds them a lot of The Chosen, if you're familiar with that TV series.
One of the things that I thought was especially interesting is, again, if you had asked me if teens would respond to it, I would have said maybe, possibly so. Wasn't really sure. I would probably not have guessed that teen boys would be drawn to it. And yet we've had wonderful reviews. One teen boy said, as a teenager, I'm reading it off my other screen. As a teenager, it really helped reading from another teen's perspective about Jesus's time. He said, I would highly recommend this book to any teen looking for historical fiction during the ministry of Jesus. And so that, again, was pleasantly surprising to us.
Yeah, I can
Well,
see that
thank you,
would be-
Carol and
it's
Larry.
just
And also,
fascinating.
they are going to be our August sponsors. So stay tuned because we'll be doing their book in greater detail. And we've already done some videos that we'll be sharing on the channel. So thank you so much for that. And welcome aboard.
you.
Thank you.
Glad to have
I'm
you.
going to see if I can get Deanna. Okay, Deanna, you're next. Over to you, Joanne.
Oh, hi, Deanna. Well, and thank you so much, Carol and Larry. And I'm going to go on, are they on Amazon? Or did you say it was on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay, I plan on going there and looking that book up.
Yes,
Okay,
and
I'm glad-
an audio book is be out within 90 days.
Okay, perfect. That's good for when we're driving to listen to books. We appreciate that. All right, Deanna, tell us about your books and welcome to my show.
Yeah, hi Joanne, hi everyone. So my name is Deanna, and I didn't quite create a book. I created some card decks. So the first card deck I created, I call the Go Deck, and it features different cities across the U.S. San Diego is my first city, Knoxville, Tennessee was the second. And so within this card deck, there's 52 outdoor locations that are free to visit, detailed on the card. So you could have a new adventure within a close radius of your home every week of the year. In the process of researching locations and going to them, I took my daughter. I'm a single mom, and we started, I guess, when she was around 4. And so, walking and doing a lot of hiking was not quite her thing. She's got better over the years, but in the process, I started to try to find games that I could play with her while we were out hiking or even driving to the location to research it. And so I started to collect all these different games that you can play anywhere, anytime, because there's no materials needed. So whether I'm driving, she's in the back seat, or we're hiking together and she's getting maybe a little tired and I want to distract her, these were word, guessing, travel, and music games that we could play together. And a lot of them, especially the travel games, involve recognizing alphabets. Some of the word games involve understanding how to spell words or what words start with, having discussions about how different letters have different sounds. So the website is thegodeck.com. And the product I'm talking about right now is games to play on the go. And I thought I would just wrap up my time by encouraging everyone on the call to have a little game with me. So the game that I picked out is called Song Word Search. So typically how we would play the game is I would ask my daughter to come up with any word. So she might come up with the word purple. And then I would try to think of songs that the title has the word purple or the lyrics have the word purple. So like Purple Rain or One Eye, One Horn, Flying Purple People Eater. I thought for today, maybe we could do it a little differently because Sir Pigglesworth travels everywhere. And so I thought that today we could just come up with songs, either the title or it has it in the lyrics of a location. So I'll kick us off with a couple, and then I'd love to hear some of you also come up with some. So the first one I can think of is if you're going to San Francisco. And then the second one I think of is the country song, All My Exes Live in Texas. So Joanne, you probably enjoy that one. So I'm curious, does anybody else, can you think of a song title or the lyrics? You don't have to sing them if you don't want to, that have a location, either a city, state, country, anything. So I'll turn it over and see if anybody wants to chime in.
Well, sweet Caroline, dun, dun, dun.
Very nice.
Good.
I won't sing it, but Sweet Alabama.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Georgia
Midnight
on
Train
my
to
mind.
Georgia. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were both saying Georgia, Emily. I said Georgia on my mind. What did you say?
Georgia on my mind, very nice.
Midnight Train to Georgia.
Nice.
The night the lights went out in Georgia.
Start spreading the news.
And a rainy night in Georgia.
Oh, Georgia's pretty popular. isn't
Georgia
it?
is popular. Wow.
Absolutely.
Hotel California.
Oh, very nice.
That's
Yeah.
very nice. Yes.
Or California Dreamin'. That's another one. Yeah. Oh.
The hotel.
Yeah. So, I'll wrap up by just.
New York. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
New York, New York.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm from.
Awesome. Well, thank you for playing along, but that's just an example of something I might play with my daughter. A lot of times when we're commuting, she asks for a tablet or my phone, and I really am looking for ways to engage with her in a different level, whether that's encouraging her to learn alphabets or doing some math or different things, or, just having fun with words, singing songs. So thank you so much for your time. The website is thegodeck.com.
And
Well,
could you
thank you,
repeat that
Deanna.
website again?
Thegodeck.com. So TheGodeck.com.
Okay, and is that the only place where we can buy them?
Right now, yeah, there's a few retail establishments in San Diego that carry my products, but right online, it's just through my online shop.
Okay, and do you plan on making more decks with the different areas, different cities?
Yes, I hope to expand the city series substantially. And then my daughter enjoyed being my co-creator for this first games product. So I'm hoping to have more games products in the future with her by my side.
This sounds like something I could really use because Sir Pigglesworth travels around everywhere, and I'm always having to do a lot of research to figure out what he can do in those places.
Yeah.
And so this kind of thing would be a huge help to me.
Yeah,
Okay, does
great.
anybody have any questions or comments for Deanna?
I actually had a question for you. Do you have them to where you've actually had teachers put them in schools and stuff? Because it sounds like it would be a great interactive activity for kids, for students, or even for, there's so many different, especially where I'm at, so many different transplant people that come from all different places, something to where kids could actually talk about all the different places that they're from, but then utilize the cards. I mean, I know it's just for that one specific area, but I was just kind of wondering.
Yeah, the only school I've worked with so far is my daughter's elementary school. But yeah, that's why I'm on calls like this, is I want to get the word out and grow the business. Yeah.
Well,
Seems
we
like they would be
certainly-
really good for field trips too, for schools, like when you're on the bus. And I mean, it makes me think when I was little and we would play the game where you had to find all the license plates. It's really
Yes.
fun to hear that you're making your own. And my question was going to be if your daughter ever made her own games, but it sounds like she's just as involved.
So she inspired, not on every game card, but on a lot of them, there's variations. such as how to make it harder, how to make it easier. And she was the inspiration for a lot of those variations that we come up with, because I would try playing with her and then she would change it in a way that she liked it. And I thought, oh, well, she's made it harder, she's made it easier. And so I would include variations for the parents.
That's a great idea. How old is your daughter?
She's 7 now.
Okay, it's getting up there. Okay. All right, Deanna, thank you so much. And I look forward to getting your cards. Okay. Elizabeth, who do we have next?
Yes, we have Kevin, and I thought I saw Mary Beth, but I think she might be still here, but let's go with Kevin.
Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Welcome.
Hi,
Glad to
thank
have
you.
you here.
Well, thank you for having me, Joanna. I'm only 9 books behind you.
Oh, gosh.
So
Okay, so you have a long
I'm-
time to go.
yes, I'm actually a lawyer for most of my career and turned author over the last year. So this is all new to me, and it's great listening to all of you talk about the industry and what you're doing, because I learned from you. So thank you, everybody. So my debut novel actually just released July 1st. So it just hit the market. And I've been blessed that it was well received. It was a top new release on Amazon and hit #1 in its category for Christian youth literature. So I know it's not easy, and I probably lucked out, but it's been a great first month of my book's journey in the market. It's a fantasy adventure for kids. I'd say 9 to 14 is kind of the age, but it's really a family book. So, parents and grandparents can enjoy it too. It's a story of 3 kids in a family, Aaron, Benji, and Hannah. And it starts with them living in a world that's lost its way. There's liars and cheaters and just plain mean people. And each of the kids has to kind of grapple with what that means for them in their life and how they're going to respond. And they're invited to their grandparents' ranch that's high up in the snow-covered mountains to spend the Christmas break. And but this is no ordinary ranch. It's something special, extraordinary about this ranch. And what they discover on the ranch throws them into a crazy adventure. They meet a wild bunch of characters and get caught up in all kinds of shenanigans. And the king of this world they discover on the ranch asked them to take on a mission that's more dangerous and more intense than anything they've ever been involved on, and it tests them in ways they least expected. And I won't give spoilers, but the theological themes within the story, it's kind of Christian fiction through allegory. And the sub-themes running through the story that the kids discover as they go on this adventure is who the king is. And the king is the source of everything that's good and beautiful and true. And so they learn about who the king is, and then they discover that they're made in the king's image and what it means to be made in the king's image. And through that discovery, they learn their identity and their purpose, and it gives them an inner strength. That's really the hope I get out of the book from my young readers, is I want them to live out their faith with confidence, courage, and peace of mind. And so that's the story, and I don't want to go too long. So right now it's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and other retailers, and it's available in softcover, ebook, hardcover, and an audiobook as well.
Do you have a copy of the book you can hold up and show us?
I do. This is Aaron, the lead character. He's 12 years old, and his younger brother Benji is 10 years old. And then Hannah is the little sister, and she's 8 years old. And so they go off on a Christmas trip to the ranch in the snow-covered mountains, and they discover a world up there that takes them into all kinds of adventurous journeys.
Okay, so if you've been a lawyer all your career, what inspired you to write a book?
It was really the birth of my grandkids. I've got 2 daughters, fantastic daughters that are now grown up, and the birth of my 2 grandsons over the last several years has it's impressed upon me that families of faith are having a harder time raising up their kids in that faith, just because of the world we live in and kind of what's going on in the world. And so I wanted to, rather than rail against what I believe or what the culture's doing, I thought I want to just create good, clean fiction that celebrates family and faith and give it as an opportunity for families that want to raise up their kids in that tradition, some content that's going to honor God and help their kids understand who God is and who they are as his children made in his image.
Oh gosh, and the world really needs all this today. So good luck, congratulations. Does anybody have any questions or comments they'd like to say to Kevin?
How did you reach #1 so quickly?
Yeah, really. I'd like to know that too.
Yeah, it's a mystery to me. I expected to be another anonymous release, and so my publisher probably had a lot to do with it. So I probably give them the credit because I'm not really a marketer. Even settings like this, I'm not used to. So it certainly wasn't my doing. It was something beyond me.
Who was your publisher?
That was my next question.
They're an independent Christian publisher named Charis Publishing.
Charis, how do you spell Charis?
Charis. They're in the kind of outskirts of the Chicago area.
Okay. Amazing. Well, congratulations. And like I said, best of luck with everything on your novel. Sounds like it's going to be amazing. And
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I did have one question for Larry and Carol. I was really intrigued by your book, and I didn't get the name of your book. I don't know if you're still with us, but if
Yes, you're here. It's called In Search of My Heart.
okay, it
Yeah.
sounds like a fantastic book.
There's the cover here.
It's a very great read, and there's some plot twists that are really interesting.
now everybody's books that sound amazing. Elizabeth, did you find Mary Beth? Did you
No,
say?
I think she left, but we'll get her back. She's delightful too, Mary Beth. She's written 2 children's books and 3 adult, a couple of adult books. Yeah. But we'll get her back. Is there any author that we missed? Okay, going once, going twice.
Want
All
everybody
right.
to have a chance.
Yep, you've had your chance. All right. So what do you think about the show so far, everyone?
Any opinions?
I love listening to the other authors. As somebody who's new to all this, it's really insightful to just listen to what people have done and what they've created and how they've thought about the inspiration behind what they've written. So for somebody new, this is a fantastic setting.
Yes. So when you have a book club, there is a book that you feature. So today we're featuring Joanne Wagner's series of 9 books. And all that Joanne is asking each of you is to write her a review. So if you all can, and I'll make sure that at the end of this, I will email you sirpigglesworth.com, and there is a book set that if you can buy, we would love for you to do that. And of course, if you just want to get the individual book, you can get that too. But we would like you to encourage Joanne and make sure that you'll write her a review. And in exchange, she's going to write you a review, and she's going to try and support you as well. So it's a kind of exchange that we're trying to encourage, so that each of you get book reviews as well as encourage the featured author. So everybody, please give her a big applaud. And next month, I think I put the dates up already. I believe it's August. Did we say August 1st, Larry and
Yes.
Karen?
It
Okay,
did-
their book is going to be the featured book next month. And so we hope you will come back, and it'll be the same format. And then we would like you to write some reviews and comments for their book as well. And so each month we'll feature an author, and then we'll feature all of you, and we'll bring new authors in each month. And this is really Joanne and Bill's baby. So Joanne and Bill, we want you back. And we want you on the show because you originated this format. So Brightside did a
I
lot
can
of
jump in just a minute.
They have worked hard with me for the last 6 months to produce this show. So I really, really have to thank Joanne and Bill, because this is really their show, and they've put this whole thing together. So we wouldn't have this format if and Kim has been to our previous episode, so Kim will be able to compare what we previously did to what we're doing now. So now we're focusing more on all children authors together, and then I'll have adult books, you know, separately. So that way we will, if we have a lot of authors, then we'll split it into an adult R and then a children's R. But the children are the most important to us, because if we don't teach our children to read, we're in big trouble. So I think this channel, and Joanne has really been the one behind this, to talk again and again about literacy and how important it is for children to read. In fact, they've made a huge investment in their books because they have passion for why children should read. So I think I want to carry on this legacy, but I want to make sure that we give credit where credit is due. So thank you both for putting this format together. So any comments on the new format?
Yeah. Could I jump in a minute, Elizabeth?
Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, yes. I just want to explain about the set. We still have a few of the original book sets, and you know, the new books on Amazon and everywhere are $12.95 a book. The original set that we had, they were $8.95, and in the 8-book set, it's $39.95. So that's $5 a piece.
Can you all see that?
So, but when those are sold out, we're not going to do those anymore. Okay.
And all the books are in the box.
Yeah, all the books are in the box, and there's 8 of them in the box. So the only difference is that we changed the cover.
Right.
We rebranded the cover on the second release. So those are going out now. And again, those are like $12.95 a piece. So it's really a good deal.
Bill,
Yes.
how can we get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, if you want to talk to me about his publishing, things like that, or what?
Yeah, just like to get to know you better. Do you have your email address, and we can set up a phone call?
Yeah. Is this being recorded right now, Elizabeth?
Yes, it's being recorded. I'll send it to you, Larry.
Okay.
I'll send you Bill's contact and phone number and email. He's really good with email. So yeah, so I'll
Yeah, I
connect.
can help you.
Actually, I'll
stuff in
connect all
English.
of you together, so you all can all buy each other's books and write comments. And if you can't buy a book, just write a review or go to someone's Facebook page and comment on it, because you don't know how great it is if somebody gets a comment on Facebook or LinkedIn or social media. So there's unteam ways that you can support one another, and that's what the book club is all about. So we really want you all to support one another, and I will definitely have Joanne's website and all of your websites available so that you all can network with one another, call each other up, and learn something new. So
Elizabeth,
and actually, Larry, Bill is the right person to talk to, because if you're thinking of publishing, 25 packs of books, he might be able to help you there as well. He's brilliant. Yeah.
And one thing, can I interrupt a second?
Yes.
One thing Bill didn't say is that these on Amazon, the set of 8 books was $79. On our website, we had put it down to $49, but
It was
now we're having a
39.
summer blowout. We just have a limited number of sets left because these are the old books before the new ones come out in mass production there. And they're $29.95 for all.
$39.95. They're half price.
Oh, I'm sorry.
39. Okay, I'm putting in the chat right now my email address. So
And
you
I'm
should
going to
see that
stop
right now.
recording. I'm going to
Yes,
stop
I'd love
recording.
to
We're
keep in
talking
touch.
personal things now. So just let me end this. So you're watching Mama Pigglesworth Corner, which is a syndicated show on Discover Brightside, and it's a collaboration. We hope you loved it. We hope you buy these authors' books, write comments, Facebook pages. And so we want the Brightside community to show support to the channel by subscribing. Thank you for watching Discover Brightside, where we discover new things, new authors, new books every day. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now.